Yeah, that was the other thing. He subtweeted me. That's what he did. he screenshotted the BeReal, sent it to me immediately, and then made fun of me, and then made a video, man, on his account.
There's 2 follow-up videos, but it mentions nothing about
It's
you.
fine,
You just brought up a
it's
good
fine.
idea.
Welcome back to the Adventure to the Edge podcast. You know, earlier I was trying to remember. I think I forgot the name of the podcast for like 10 seconds. And then I went, oh, I'm just stupid, you know?
With all this stuff that I post on it. And you
Yeah,
forgot the
pretty
name.
much.
Yeah.
I just forgot the name, you know?
ATTE
This is
is the short of it.
Episode 52.
51. There's been so many times that I think it's because you always try to guess which episode it is, and I had it up for a couple of weeks where the number was wrong on the Anchor app with like Spotify and Apple Music, and then it was messed up on it's fine. It's an easy switch though. You can switch those things pretty fast. Episode 51.
51. So that means next episode is technically your 1 year mark, even though you started sort of sporadic. Not sporadic, but you just weren't consistent, I guess.
Yeah, well, I've only ever filmed 1 episode per week, so yeah, it's 52 weeks of recording and uploading an episode. It seems like so much time. That's actually insane when you break it down that way. All right, I finally did it. I finally did it, and I talked to you about it a little bit the other day, but okay. I've talked about how I used to always go to Qdoba when I was younger. Like Qdoba was the thing. Like Chipotle wasn't around in Louisville. I loved Qdoba. I just remember I just always loved going to Qdoba. I love Mexican food. And then I went to Qdoba for the first time in the longest time because I used to always just start going to Chipotle. I guess like a year or so ago, kind of in the pandemic, and I was like, man, this is really bad. And I think I told you like 2 weeks ago, I was like, you know what? I need to go back to Qdoba and check it. Maybe it was just like new workers and they're kind of tweaking whatever they're cooking and all that, and just give it another chance. So on Monday, I went and I had the same experience. And I'm sorry, but Qdoba, to me, it's trash, man.
I just disagree. I feel like you're just picky.
Well, maybe
picky about your burritos, you know.
Well, I am slightly picky, but maybe what we need to do. I know we've talked about eating 2 burritos in one sitting, but maybe we need to do a Chipotle Qdoba eat off, and do it in the sense of what we could do is you could do your order that you do at Qdoba and your order that you do at Chipotle because they're going to be
pretty
different
similar.
than mine. Similar, but a little different, right?
I see what you mean.
Yeah, yes. Similar. Yeah, yours, yes. And then I'll do mine, and then we'll split the burritos in half, and then make the comparison. Because maybe it's not so much. Maybe it's what I'm putting on. No, it's not what I'm putting on it. Qdoba is just it's inferior.
I just disagree, dude. Also, free queso on your burrito.
I don't know. It was just plain. I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up because I have a strong. I know you. Qdoba is trash. Go to Chipotle. Go to Chipotle.
You're just so wrong, dude.
No, it's not true. If you're just listening to this episode, because I feel like more people just listened to the episode,
you should definitely check out the YouTube.
Yeah, there's a visual going on right now. It's pretty important. Go check out the YouTube, and then I'll also get people to jump on there. And also, if you're there, go ahead and subscribe because it's spring break week for everybody.
Click that button.
That's the hint that we'll give you. It's spring break week. There's a very important visual happening on the episode, and being we don't talk about spring. And being that it is spring break, vacations. Do you have any favorite vacations that you've went on?
Like childhood? Well, here's the thing. You know when you remember stuff. This is like a different topic completely.
I know exactly where you're
stuff,
going.
And it feels like a dream. Like it doesn't actually feel real.
Yep.
But you actually did do it, but you were remembering just like little bite-sized nothings of it, right?
Right.
That's how I feel about my Disney vacation that I went. It's a whole family thing. I mean, like 3 different aunts and uncles, all of their kids. It was a whole ordeal. And when I say 3 different aunts and uncles, I mean like aunt and uncle, aunt and uncle, aunt and uncle. So it was a lot. And I took it when I was 4. And so like I like snippets. I remember that I did it, and I remember moments, but it feels like a dream.
Yeah. No, I went to Disney World when I was pretty young too, and I do remember snippets of it, like you said, but I don't. Yeah, it seems like a dream.
It's weird,
exactly,
man.
And I think sometimes, like with the vacations, like I asked that question, "What is like? Do you remember your vacation?" Sometimes with memories, until someone says something about a memory they have or a vacation, until it like clicks in your mind, and then like all of a sudden you like access. Oh, I remember this part. Oh, it's like a weird pyramid of memories that like you can't. Someone asks you a blatant question, you're like, what's my favorite vacation? You almost have to like pick away at the ones you've been on. But Disney World I went to when I was younger too, and there was like a 2-week vacation. Went to Cocoa Beach. Did you go on spring break regularly when you were in like high school?
No.
Or did you like go somewhere? Yeah, me neither.
Well, what I will say, I mean, most of the time I was playing baseball, so either we had games or one year, my sophomore year of high school, the whole high school team went down to Vero Beach, Florida, which was kind of cool.
Yeah. I think some of the sports stuff that happens over spring break, I think it's a little excessive. I don't know if it's necessarily just like a money grab, but at a certain point, it's just like, all right, you've been playing your sport every week for the past whatever weeks, and then you're going to potentially have 1 week off, but now let's travel somewhere and do a tournament. I'm kind of in and out on those.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think, you know what? Actually, I changed that. I don't think I had games on spring break. I only had that one trip sophomore year. And they do that every like 2 or 3 years. So
okay. Yeah, but it's like every year. Like I have some teams that are going to Dallas over spring break, and there's just some parents that are like, nope, we're not going. We're on vacation. Like, and I respect that. Like, 100% is like, yeah, I get that. You know, so you got to sometimes you got to take a week off. You don't have to do all these extracurricular activities at all times. Like, it's just like take a break. Dude, like I'm going to be taking somewhat of a break.
Did you ever go on like school trips, like big school trips, or no?
Not really. I think maybe the biggest. No, not a really big
Kids,
one.
that's why you should join. That's why you should be in the music program at your school, because they usually go on trips. But like not every year, but most years we would go on a music trip, and they would have the tape on the door. Not every time, but like sometimes they'd have tape on the door. Have you heard about this?
Were they trying to like sneak out at night?
Yeah, exactly. So you don't want,
They tape you in.
They tape the door to see if you like snuck out or not.
Yeah.
So this is now going back to the Vero Beach trip. They put tape on our doors because they wanted us to get sleep, so we're ready to play and all that garbage, whatever. So instead, we weren't in hotels. It was like these like condo style, whatever, but they were like back to back to back to back. So we would sneak out the window instead, and the day before we popped out the screen on the outside, laid it on the ground, and then that night we would like lift up and there was like, I don't know, this is hard visual, but maybe like 2 feet, a little under 2 feet of space that we would like shimmy through. Yeah, it was fun.
Cole's just adding himself on something he did when he was a kid.
I mean, it's fine. Sophomore year, you know. Don't do that.
Were you tired? Don't do that.
That
is not financial advice.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Don't do that.
It's not financial advice. Did you? Were you tired? The
next
day, though?
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't remember if we won or lost any games. I just don't remember any of the games. I just remember hanging out with my friends and sneaking out. That's the only like part I remember.
Yeah, the memories that stick on the trips like that. I remember one of my favorite trips that I did. I think I was probably like 16 at the time, and it was a soccer tournament that we did. And this wasn't over spring break. It was over.
Was it with your school?
No, this was the soccer team. I didn't do much with my school.
Well, that's why. Well, okay. So were you on like an AAU type team, or was it?
Yeah, so I played for Mockingbird, so it was like a travel team. And it was,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a college showcase down in Florida, and we flew out the day after Christmas, which was a little chaotic, a little crazy. But we went to Tampa, and I remember that experience very vividly. I have no clue what games you won. I remember playing a little bit of the games with the experience of the hotel and hanging out with friends. We actually played. The flight there was miserable too. We actually played sand volleyball with Hulk Hogan's, I guess, ex-wife at the time, because he had a house down there, or he had. Yeah, I'm being dead serious.
What?
Hulk Hogan's wife. We were, as a soccer team, we were playing volleyball with her one day. We had no we really didn't know who she was, but all like the parents are like laughing about it, and I'm like,
that's crazy, dude.
It's probably one of the first times. No, it wasn't one of the first times I played volleyball, but it was fun. I remember that experience very much. Just the hotel and but the bonding stuff is what you remember.
So
more
college showcase. Did you ever did you get any offers or anything?
Not really. I wasn't really on the specific team that I should have been on to travel to certain tournaments. We didn't do a ton.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you ever want to go and play like college soccer?
Yeah, there was always somewhat of a desire, but I feel like the access to information on actually how to go about getting coaches to see you. No, that wasn't as prevalent as it is now.
Yeah.
You have kind of more accessibility of getting more awareness. Back in the day, it was like, all right, you play on this team. We're going to these tournaments. There might be these coaches there, but you have to play. You have to be on the right club team to do that. Like Javanon was the one back in the day, and I could have played for Javanon, but it was so expensive to travel all the time. So didn't really do it.
That's cool. You think you were good enough?
No. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty. Yeah, I think it was good enough to play somewhere for sure. I think so. I don't want to sound like
no, you can. No, this is your moment. I'm letting you. I'm letting you be a little cocky here.
I was pretty decent at soccer.
Yeah.
Do you have any other vacations besides?
I mean,
or how about this question? When it came to going on vacations, did you typically fly or drive?
Drive. Like I don't think I've ever flown for vacation specifically. I've gone on flights before, but you know what? I remember one that was like really cool. We took a road trip and we went to like 4 different cities, and it was up north. So we went, I don't know what the order was, but we went to Cleveland. We went up to Buffalo, New York for Niagara Falls, and then came back down to Cooperstown, which is where the Baseball Hall of Fame is, and did a tour of that, which was really cool. And then went through Pittsburgh, and we went to a couple different baseball games and stuff. It was, I don't know, it was super fun. I liked it.
Yeah. As a family, we never flew to vacation. Now I've flown with like Lauren. We went to Cancun and other stuff since then with my family.
That must have been sick. What was that like?
Oh, I'll definitely talk about Cancun.
Yeah.
I'll come back to Cancun, but it was I remember just the drives were a part of the memories, because it was such a haul to get to Florida.
Yeah, man.
Stopping at McDonald's or like Waffle House, or I know with my family, it was like, all right, we're leaving super early in the morning. We're driving all day. We're not stopping at a hotel. Why would we stop at a hotel? We're going to drive for 14 hours straight, which is fine. No. But I remember those trips.
Did you ever have like a portable DVD player, or was that a little before your time?
I put this down as something to talk about. It's a great question, Cole. Cole is reading my mind. There was the one time I went on a spring break was with one of my friends, and his family, his grandma lived in Sarasota. So we drove down there, and this is when Family Guy was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years out at the time, I think. And we had a portable DVD player that you'd put the DVD in.
Yeah, dude.
I watched Family Guy for like 12 hours straight. We just sit there, put it in, and 12 hours straight of Family Guy. But yeah, portable, they were clutch. You didn't have phones back in the day.
No. And so how many siblings do you have? Just one?
Just one. Older brother, yeah.
Yeah. I have 0, so it was just, mom, dad, and me. So I would just we would talk every once in a while, but I was glued to that portable DVD player. Yeah. No other entertainment, no other person really to talk to. I mean, family was cool. It's not like Not hating on them, but yeah,
There's only so much to talk about when you're in the car for 12 hours straight.
exactly.
Yeah, it's just like a certain point, or you can sleep. Yeah, back in the day, you look at the comparison of, I mean, we had DVD players and Game Boys or whatever, and think of our parents when they did trips, but they probably went on less of, it's just, at that point, it's just playing silly car games or whatever.
Yeah, I did. No, I would do those too.
Yeah,
we would count the cows on which side of the car we're on. Do you ever do that?
No.
Oh, that was great. Yeah. So you would get one side, and then the other people would get the other side, and then you count how many cows you have. Total wins. Whoever has the highest wins.
It's interesting what you will find entertaining when your threshold of being bored is so like high, and you're like, okay, what do I do to entertain myself? And he's actually going to be on the podcast here soon, just for a short while. It's Ian. I've been training him for fighting wildfires in Alaska. He's a really interesting guy. So he'll be leaving here. I'm going to interview him right before he leaves in a couple of days, actually. And I've been training him for that. And they talked about like how they entertain themselves. And sometimes it's just like, all right, we have knives. We're just like throwing knives at trees, or just like stuff, because they have nothing to do. So that's the most entertaining thing.
Yeah.
And I'll be talking to him a lot of that. And there's so much. I love training him in the past, I guess, like 6 weeks, twice a week, because I've just asked him so many questions.
That's cool.
Just a different world out there. So be tuned for that interview. That one might be just a full episode, because I think he's going to have so much. I bet it
would be.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Yeah. So was there any movies you remember watching, or which DVDs did you repeat movies, or did you rent stuff? Okay,
no,
repeat movies.
I repeat. Like I was such a. This is my favorite thing right now, so I'm gonna just watch it until I can't watch it anymore. So like I had some Star Wars DVDs. I had Indiana Jones, big Indiana Jones. I would bring all three. National Treasure, dude.
The fact that Aaron, did you make she watched it yet?
No, not yet. But like the fact that she hasn't seen that, it's like it's such a disappointment in my mind.
You just need to watch her this weekend. She's got to watch it.
Yeah,
she'll like it.
Well, yeah. Oh yeah.
What if she doesn't like it? I'm just kidding.
Well, here's the thing. That's one of those things. Like
timing.
I don't think exactly. It's all about timing. Like it has a nostalgic factor. I don't think it's legitimately a great movie. It's like a fine movie, I think. But it's the nostalgia factor.
I think it's fun. It's like an adventure movie. It's lighthearted. It's not too dramatic, but it's fun. And it's timing, right? I just watched Maverick. Lauren and I just watched Maverick for the first time on Sunday.
Have you seen the original?
So I have seen the original.
Okay.
I saw it. I've seen it several times.
Yeah.
I watched it when I was a kid, so it was when I was younger. And Maverick's just it's just better. It really is. And Lauren hasn't seen the original. She knew the storyline. But I think if you were to watch Maverick first, and then, which is kind of ironic, not ironic, but doesn't typically how it always happen, and then go back and watch the first one, you'd be like, So Maverick's so good. It lived up to the hype for sure.
Yeah. I got to see it in theaters, which was pretty cool. I definitely enjoyed it.
I want to watch some of the, not necessarily special features, but behind the scenes on that, because there's so many of the scenes were shot like actually in planes with a GoPro, and you can see their faces all distorted, which is really cool. It lived up to the hype. I had a high expectation for it, and it's a great movie. So if you haven't seen it, eventually do so.
Dude, I can't see anything. Like, it's not the sunglasses. I just am blind. I'm so blind.
Because we're running new. So here's the other thing. We're running new tech right now. I'm trying on a new camera, so it's a little bit higher quality.
Oh, you are? Okay. I didn't put it on.
Yeah, but I'm going to check this one out first, and then if it does better, then Cole's going to break these out too. Yeah, and then we got new lights for the light's pretty nice.
I like it. I like it.
The Macs on the back, their only input is like a USB-C input, and there's only two.
Really?
And there's only two, which drives me nuts. So then you have to have, for everything as USB, like the microphone, the camera, and the light, you have to have an adapter. Well, there's only two. So then I had to buy a USB-C dock to plug everything in. So I'm running all this. Like, I got to fix all my wires. It's hopefully it doesn't mess anything up, because last episode I jinxed us into technical difficulties. If you hadn't listened to that one yet.
Yes, you did. Like, so hard. Like, dude.
I jinxed it. Right in the beginning, I was like, there was a little blurb and mess up that hopefully I think we figured out, that it's just like, oh, video, blah, blah, blah. And then it drifted my audio, your audio. So it's completely, audio's fine, but the video's just done. And I was like, what happens if we just mess an episode up? And
dude, that was
okay.
all your fault. It's actually all your fault.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, at least we figured it out.
Do you believe in jinxes?
I believe if you put it out into the universe, the chances of it happening is higher. So, like, yes, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, if you say something, then you're thinking something, or you make someone else think something, so it could potentially make it happen. Now, that's a technical difficulty, but the only reason we thought of it being a technical difficulty is because of the actual thing messing up and me just not like whatever. So, yes and no, I believe in jinxes. Do you believe in jinxes?
I mean, yeah, sure. I think they're fun. I think it's fun. It's a fun little thing. I don't know if it's real or not, but I think it's fun.
Yeah. I forgot about Cancun.
Yeah, talk about it.
Cancun was a lot of fun.
Some, like, really blue water.
Yeah, no, it is. So Cancun, if you've never been, you have to kind of, I mean, you typically fly in. So we flew in, we had 2 flights, and we basically stayed in the resort. That's kind of one of the parts of Cancun, is you really don't leave your resort for the most part. And there's the resort, which think of it like a U shape, and you're inside. Okay. And then inside of the U shape, there's just a ton of pools. And then all the restaurants are kind of there too, built into the hotel or inside the middle. And then you can literally come out of the pool. And I would say within, I don't know, 20 to 40 yards, depending on the resort you're staying in, you're on the beach. It's like, that's how close the pool. It's really crazy. Nice, dude. And then the water is blue. We went on a little catamaran kind of snorkeling excursion. Yeah. And I mean, the water is it is blue. I mean, you can see to the bottom, and it's like 30 feet deep. It's definitely an experience, a different world that you do see on social media that I think everyone should kind of experience. Maybe one day we'll go to Cancun.
It's nothing like the Ohio, man.
Yeah,
nothing beats the Ohio.
Clear water. It hits different. It hits different. I was talking to my kids about this the other day, and it's just the perspective of different vacation. And we're spring breaking it up, vacations. When we would get you're a little bit younger, but when we'd go on vacation, you'd kind of have to not necessarily plan out what you're going to do, but let's say you go to the beach, you're hanging out. We'll say we're at Cocoa Beach. That was a place that my family liked to go. In order to find where you're going to eat at, it was typically like drive around, find a spot, go to something you know about. But if you wanted to find something different, it ended up being like, oh, there's a hole in the wall over there. That's a fishing place, or it's near the beach. Let's go eat there. Now you have Yelp. You can kind of like look up reviews and go to spots. You don't have to plan as much out.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the worst parts about vacation is I just feel like you have to plan out either like your activities, like you either book yourself so that you're always doing something, or you don't do enough and then you feel like you didn't do enough. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a balance there that is hard to hit sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's like plan out 1 or 2 things, and then after that, you kind of just roll with it. Because if you plan out too much or you have too much set up, you almost feel obligated. Yeah. It's like, nah, I want to chill. I want to chill for sure. What was I? Anything on vacations? Maps back in the day? Nah. Dad's on vacation. No vacation memories. Yeah, that's all I got on vacations.
That's it. No more.
That's it. No more vacations.
No more discussion of this.
Oh, this is not really vacation, but this is. I try to tell my athletes before going on spring break this, because I feel like some people just don't know about it, and it's important. Now, most of you guys are already on vacation, but maybe it'll help. Do you know how to get out of a riptide?
Literally, no.
Okay.
No idea.
So everyone's always afraid of sharks when it comes to going to the beach, but it's not addressed about if you get caught in like a riptide or a
Yeah,
rip current.
dude. Those are scary.
So let's say picture that my hand is the beach, right? So this is the beach and you're out here in the water, okay? And all of a sudden you start feeling this, because I've got stuck in one before. All of a sudden you feel the sand like sweeping out from underneath your feet and the water is just pulling you out towards the ocean. At that point you're probably, and then it keeps pulling you. If you try to swim directly back towards the beach, there's no way you're going to fight that current. You're just going to wear yourself out. You're not going to be able to fight. You're not going to be able to, for the most part. So what you do is, and this is actual advice, I'm being dead serious because this could save someone's life, is instead of swimming back towards the beach, if you get stuck in this rip current, is you swim alongside the beach. Now you will keep pulling you out a little bit, but eventually if you keep swimming alongside the beach, you'll get out of it. You'll get out of it. So then you can go back towards the beach and it's not pulling you out anymore. And I remember, I think my dad was with me when it happened to me. I can't really remember exactly, but I do remember getting caught in one, and we had to kind of swim down the beach, and it'll go by in a blink of an eye. And then all of a sudden, when you finally get back to the beach, you're like 100 yards away from where you, it's like, what happens? But yeah, that's a piece of advice I try to tell my kids, because it could happen to you.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to get out of it, it's like panic mode. You go in survival mode versus just like, all right, just calmly keep swimming this way. You'll be fine.
You ever take swimming lessons?
No, not really. I grew up in a pool. My grandma had a pool,
Okay.
and I was just always in it. I don't remember ever taking lessons. I just knew how to swim. I did have to take a swimming class in college that was kind of entertaining, but no, I was a fish.
Dude, so I took swimming lessons from All About Kids.
Yeah.
And I made it all the way through their little system. They had different colors of fish based on what level you are, like how good you are. It's one of my proudest achievements to be a rainbow fish, first of all.
I was going to say, were you a goldfish?
I was a rainbow fish. They actually didn't have goldfish. It was like red, orange, green, blue, maybe some other one, and rainbow fish. And this is one of those times where my memory got distorted. So I thought it took like a year to do all my lessons and go through all those different whatever. And like maybe a year ago, I talked to my mom about it, and I was like, "Yeah, you remember like All About Kids and stuff and whatever?" And she was like, "Yeah." I said, "How long did it take me to finish all the lessons?" And she said, "Oh, about 2.5, 3 months."
Nice.
And I was like, "What?" She said, "Yeah, I mean, the things were only 1 or 2 weeks each." And then I said, it really distorted my sense of time.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one of those?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean,
that one really freaked me out.
I mean, yeah, I think I could if I really thought about it, but not off the top of my head.
I still think being an only child hurts my memory because I have no one to share things with. And so I was constantly like using my imagination when I'm just hanging out with myself, as a child. So it's hard to remember what was real or not.
You were just constantly convincing yourself this is the truth because
Yeah.
this is what you're thinking.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Reconfirm.
Yeah.
Affirming yourself on this is the real story.
Yes.
This is a complete tangent off, and I don't know. You know the video I sent you with the Matrix stuff the other day?
Dude, what was that? Like I understood the whole video. I understood what they were saying. It was one of the stupidest videos I've ever seen still.
Did you watch the second one about the observer effect?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Well, I'm
brain
going to leave
was
that for
done.
I want to leave that for a further episode. I don't remember if I sent it to Lauren was the one that sent it to me, and I'm sitting there watching it.
She sent it to me. She sent it to me and Aaron on Bachelor night, and I started it like while we were watching the episode, and I said, not right now."
Yeah, it was. I'll explain it quickly, and then we're going to come off it because we'll actually come back to it. It was just. I think one of the scariest parts about it was the music in the background,
dude. It was just way too intense.
It
for
was
no
super
reason.
intense. It was a video of how this AI generates names and the breed of dogs, but then it relates back to escaping the matrix and how we're in a simulation. And it was convincing, but also creepy at the same time. And it was interesting. And the comments were
Yeah.
even more interesting. But the
Yeah.
observer effect, I do want to do that'll be related to that.
All right.
We'll do an episode later on. Okay, let's get into some
No,
game
I gotta
stuff.
pee. I gotta pee first.
Okay.
We gotta
Okay.
break. We'll
All right, break
we'll be
time.
back. We'll be back to game.
P.
All right.
All right,
One
P31.
second. Bye. You're gonna see a cut right here.
Okay. It is game time. Okay. There's only 4 questions here. I will explain it, and we're going to go. Cole and I are going to be doing this one together. It's another Good Mythical Morning episode. We just steal all their stuff.
That's
I think there was
fine.
between 40 and 70,000 people polled on these. That's why it's so nice, because the bigger the poll, the more I think it makes it more difficult, but then also actually more accurate. Sorry. And they polled and they polled people on different types of foods, whether the food was better if it was softer or if it was crispier. Okay. So it was softer or crispier.
All right.
And so, for example, the first one, do people prefer a soft pretzel more or a hard pretzel more?
That's a crazy question.
Okay. Soft pretzel versus hard pretzel. And our objective, you and I are going to work together to figure out which percentage voted for which one.
Okay.
And then we also have to obviously figure out which one was the most voted for. So you go, I'm going to have you go first in this one. Then I'll go. We have 4 questions.
Dude,
you're first.
Okay. It's so obviously soft pretzel. It's not even funny. Now, the problem is it's sort of 2 different pretzels. Obviously, so like a soft pretzel is like what you're thinking about for like a baseball game, basketball game, whatever. And then the crunchy, crispy pretzel is like the bag at home. That's what I'm assuming. Because if you're thinking about, yeah. So they're kind of 2 different tastes altogether, I would say. But it's got to be soft. But because they're 2 different tastes, I think that it's not going to be as high of a percentage.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
No, I agree with that. I do think soft. I prefer soft over hard pretzel. So I think it is going to be soft. Now we just got to figure out which percentages we're going to go with. We want to try to get this within 15%.
We can do better. 10%.
All right, 10%.
10%.
All right, you. I'm going to
My
have you throw
first
out.
number is 72-28.
All right, 72/28. I'm just going to agree with that, to be honest. I think that's a good range. Okay, are we ready? The answer is soft pretzel, 87.
Oh, okay.
Hard pretzel, 13.
Man,
so the
already
people
lost.
really, the real people, yeah, soft pretzel for sure, 72. Okay, that was a little bit harder. They're going to get worse actually here. This one I'll answer first. Bone-in wings or boneless wings?
Okay.
It's kind of some of these. That's kind of difficult because obviously I prefer a boneless wing, but I also like bone-in wings. On top of the fact that some people run on that hill that boneless wings are actually chicken tenders. There's actually a dude that's suing B-dubs about that and false advertising. Yeah, I heard that the other day.
God, dude.
He's selling it. He's saying that they're not boneless wings; they're chicken tenders.
What do you expect? Like, what do you expect from a boneless wing? Like, is it still going to be in the form of a wing, but just without the like? What do you want?
Yeah. Well, you assume B-dubs about it. Let's see if he wins or not. Okay, numbers. Obviously, I think you. So, do we agree that
I'm going to be
boneless
honest.
Wings?
I prefer bone-in just because it feels more like a wing, and the meat is usually consistently there. With a boneless wing, depending on where you go, it can be more breading, more meat, worse breading. I feel like a bone-in is fairly consistent across the board. But I do think boneless is still going to win.
Okay. So should we bring the numbers down into like the 60s, 60-40 range?
I was thinking maybe high 60s, mid to high 60s.
All right, we'll go 69 boneless, and then all 69 boneless. Here we go. Does that work?
Yeah.
61 boneless wings. Let's go.
All right,
Boom.
all
What
right,
do we got?
all
All
right.
right. All right. Boom. That was a good footnote there. Goodness. So 61 on the boneless wings. Next one. It's only 4 here. There's not a ton. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Ooh, soft taco versus a hard taco.
Ooh, okay. This is tough. I feel like soft is probably preferred.
The weird thing about the soft taco for me is soft taco just seems like a burrito to me.
Yeah. There's the main issue.
It's just not folded the same
But
way. I don't know.
I think a lot of people have a problem with like crunchy tacos because the shell just like kind of collapses sometimes, and that's really annoying.
That's where I'm a big chalupa fan because it's like it's kind of crunchy, but then also soft.
Yeah.
Or you can even sometimes they do like the soft taco outer with the hard taco inner. But what do we got? We got soft taco versus hard taco. First of all, which one do you think is going to win?
I still think soft taco is going to win.
I agree.
I'm thinking like a 60, 68, 32.
68. All right.
You think it's going to be less than that?
For some, I don't
That's
know.
fine. We can change
It's
it.
a hard one. 68. So we're 60. I think we're kind of middle grounding all of these, but we're going to go with it.
They're sort of all middle ground. Well, you know what? 75.
All right, 75. Cranked 75. It up a little bit. Yeah. 75 for soft taco. Here we go. Soft taco is 71. There we go.
Nice.
All right. Last one. Floppy pizza crust versus crispy pizza crust.
That's actually tough. Because
what do you mean? What does it mean?
There are different levels to this.
Okay.
Because if you get like a really crunchy, crispy pizza crust, it's not good.
Yeah.
But like, it's better than floppy.
When I think floppy, I think automatically it's also got to be soggy.
Soggy, yeah.
And then when I think crispy versus like a slightly, I think crispy is like a thin crust, like a.
Yeah, I think crispy's gonna win, just because I do think that people would associate soggy with soft, but I feel like it might be close.
And then floppy, I feel like sometimes a floppy pizza can be one like you can fold still.
See, there's the issue.
I like folding my pizza. Do you like folding? I like folding my pizza.
I fold it every time. Unless it's like really, really small piece, but like pretty much I fold it, especially if I think it's going to fall apart.
Yeah. I tend to fold. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes in the beginning I won't fold, but then later on I like it to just mush together.
Yep.
Being if it's a square or a triangle. Okay. This one's going to be, I think this one's going to be the tightest one. Well, you're the one that's going to throw out the first tier.
Why? You did. No, I did last time. I did with
you did do it last time. You're correct.
You go.
I think crispy pizza is going to win. I would put it at I think I'd go like 62, low 60s.
All right.
Is that what we're going with?
Yeah.
All right. Crispy pizza crust.
2.
Oh, no.
Were we bad?
It's inverted. Floppy pizza crust was 59 to 41.
Oh, well, it was tight.
Floppy.
That's fine. That's fine. Well, they're probably thinking soft and like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. But it's. The descriptor is tough.
Yeah, that's where when they do those polls, they talk about them in the episodes. They're like, all right, sometimes it can be based on how people are reading it and perceiving it versus when they're actually doing the episode and they're sitting there and they're eating them. They're like, oh, is this floppy or is this floppy? They actually eat them, but but that's a whole other thing. Okay, it's time for fitness, and this is
time.
This is actually going to be important. I've put out. We're going to tell a story.
Actually important. Come on. All my questions are important every week. Jeez.
So Cole and I have been
This
in and
guy.
out doing stuff at the gym. We went this morning, did a quick one this morning because I had to give him his shirt that he's wearing. It's important. I had to drop that off for him. And I guess it was last week you posted on your Be Real, and it was you were at the gym squatting and you had your shoes off. And I commented back, I'm like, why are you squatting with your shoes off? And you're like, why what? So you told me this morning why you were squatting with your shoes off. So Cole, why were you squatting with your shoes off?
It's a really stupid reason. I have literally no basis for it. So when he was teaching me deadlifting. He's teaching me pretty much everything in the gym right now. But when he was teaching me deadlifting, he took off his shoes. And so then I just associated being at the rack with taking off my shoes. And then I was just like, oh, yeah, I guess. It was a really stupid association in my brain, but it just worked.
Well, it's not. So it's not a stupid association. It's like perfect. So in light of Cole doing that, I was like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity to jump on educating on this concept.
So hard.
I didn't roast you.
No, you
didn't. I made a video explaining why not.
Yeah, that was the other thing. He subtweeted me. That's what he did. he screenshotted the Be Real, sent it to me immediately, and then made fun of me, and then made a video, man, on his account.
There's 2 follow-up videos, but it mentions nothing about you. You just brought up a good idea.
It's fine.
The idea that popped in my head because of it is the video that I made was not everyone should squat with their shoes off. And I explained briefly, and the one that's going to be coming out this weekend, I go into more detail basically. And I want to, in the longer format here, because it's not just a TikTok that I have to make it brief and get my point across. I want to go into in depth this whole idea that I think and this is not you. That's why I asked you why you have your shoes off.
You're fine.
A lot of people, they take their shoes off just because I think they think it automatically makes their squat better, or it's better for you because you're barefoot. And it's not necessarily true if certain parameters aren't met. And that's what we're going to go over today as far as squatting goes in depth. And those videos will be coming, a follow-up video. And I've got a bunch of squatting videos coming out because it seems to be people arguing over this and that. So when you were squatting with your shoes off, did you feel more stable than with your shoes on? How did it make, do you remember?
Well, here's the thing. I haven't squatted with shoes on in a long time. So I've only squatted twice at the gym. And both times I had my shoes off. And I mean, it felt fine, you know. I don't know. Personally, I didn't notice anything like off or wrong.
Okay. Which is perfect. Did you, when you're squatting on that so you were on a platform with a wooden flooring underneath you, did it make you feel unstable that your feet were going to twist at all, or do you not have that feeling at all?
Not really. I was trying to think about my knees not going in. That was the only thing I was really focused on, is just keeping my knees straight or slightly out, I guess.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So this is the reason that a lot of people lack the flexibility typically in their ankles. The ankles are the issue, or their knees, or their typically are hamstrings or glutes or whatever, hips, but usually it's the ankles that are the issue. And when you're wearing like a typical trainer, your heel is slightly elevated in relation to your front of your foot. So that slight elevation basically aids in not having a certain amount of flexibility in your ankles so that you can maintain a better postural position in the squat. Yeah. So postural position being, if you take your shoes off, the average person, if they don't really know what they're looking for, what tends to sometimes happen, or a lot of times happen if you're not paying attention, is your feet will turn a little bit, which is fine, but then the ankles will tend to collapse a little bit down. Which could lead to the knees collapsing more as the weight increases, which could lead to the back rounding as that goes on over and over and over. And if you're not addressing the flexibility issues on top of the fact of noticing as the weight increases that these things are happening, it can kind of really bang up your lower back over time.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not that squatting without your shoes on is bad. It's that if you're not addressing certain, yes,
it can get bad. I did notice, I asked Aaron to see like how deep I was getting, because I feel like it's hard sometimes to know if I'm getting exactly to where I want to get depth wise. Yeah. And at first she was like, yeah, I feel like you're not quite getting a parallel. So I had to kind of push myself a little bit more to get deep enough.
Yeah.
So maybe that was another thing too is that it was harder to get deeper in the squat.
Yeah, and that'll happen is because you're let's say
because I'm stretching that calf and those tendons a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
Well,
my thought.
let's say like this is your foot. This would be a good visual. This is your foot and this is your shin. When you go down your squat, your knee's going to have to track forward, right?
Yeah.
So your knee tracks forward. So then the space between your foot and your shin is going to get more narrow.
Which is stretching your
so you hit
in the
this
back.
position. So you see the angle we have there, and it's completely flat. Now I'm going to elevate my heel. You see how it doesn't require as much.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
So then you can get deeper into the squat because the heel is elevated. So all I did there, so this is the foot's flat. This is you going into the squat. Okay, we hit this range. Now I'm not going to change my shin angle. All I'm going to do is elevate the heel, and you see how it made that space bigger.
Yeah,
you don't. So the ankle is a big factor. So keeping the shoes on over a period of time, and there's always so many arguments. So you want to squat with these shoes with the squishy heels? It's like most people I'm talking about here aren't squatting over 300 pounds. These are the people. These are yeah. When you get to 300 pounds, those heels are going to squish. Yeah, we, at that point, you should be either in an appropriate lifting shoe where you have a flat bottom and you're squatting well. And I'm saying all this because in general, it's not just the hierarchy or the superiority of you have to have a really good low squat. No, it's like, no, I want to help people not bang their back up. Is it more important to take your shoes off or have a back that's bothering you the rest of your life? Is basically what the point is. Like, which one do you go for?
Yeah.
There's taking the ego out of this. Is nothing about ego lifting whatsoever. And I will be doing more videos on the proper squat depth. And I actually saw this yesterday, and this is just kind of messing with my head. I'm going to use the pens again. If you're not watching, I'm sorry. Typically, when they say a squat is low enough, okay, this might be confusing, but when a squat is low enough, or when you're at parallel, that means your thigh. Let's say this is your thigh, right?
Yeah.
Your thigh should be parallel to the floor, right? That's a parallel squat. What most people think. Okay, so this is your thigh. The point at which these guys are meeting is your knee. Well, notice here, this is your shin. Are you able to keep your shin vertical when you're squatting?
I don't think so.
No, most people know, right? You're not going to have a vertical shin. Your shin's going to have to actually go forward. So this right now is a 90-degree angle, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm getting super technical here. Sorry.
That's cool.
As we're in Hawaiian shirts. So this is the knee. So if the knee has to track forward, okay, so the knee tracks forward a little bit, and this is the thigh parallel to the floor. Now I'm going to look at this angle. Is this a 90-degree angle anymore between the shin and the thigh?
No.
It's actually a 120-degree angle. So when people say squat to 90, this guy's messing with, this guy's annoying a lot of people because of it, but I get what he's saying. This is technically not a 90-degree angle. A 90-degree angle would actually be here. Okay, now you're above parallel with the thigh, but I'm going to rotate this thing. It's 90 degrees of the joint of the knee. Does that make sense? Or am I get really confused?
Yeah. I always thought that when they mean 90, they mean from your thigh to the ground, not from your knee to the thigh.
Well, the thigh to the ground.
To the ground.
Yeah, so this would be your thigh to your butt.
Yeah, because your butt to the ground would be 90.
Well, yeah. Well, no. So, but it's based on the knee joint.
Okay. Well, I just yeah.
No. So what you're saying is exactly what I always thought of. Okay, so 90 degrees means, or parallel. I usually the word you hear is parallel. A parallel squat is when your hip joint gets even with your knee joint, which you would think makes a 90-degree angle of the knee joint, but it actually doesn't. It technically makes a 120-degree angle, and that's like making people so upset, and this whole thing. So that's another part on squatting. That.
What about okay? So Erin was watching or whatever, and she said my weight movement was nice and in a line. What is the goal? What would you actually want when you're squatting? So like the weight went straight down.
If you're looking from the back, yeah. So if you're looking from the back, the way you can think of points, you can think of you want to be as symmetrical as possible. So you can look at, let's say I'm standing in front of you. You could put a dot on your left shoulder, a dot on your right shoulder, a dot on your left hip, a dot on your right hip, a dot on your knee, a dot on your right. You do your ankle, knees, hips, shoulders, all the way up, right? When you're going down, if you drew a line between all of them, you ideally want to keep them as in straight of a line together as much as possible. Because once you get a little bit of a dip from one of them, it kind of works up the kinetic chain. So that's where the shoes coming off situation comes in. If you have your ankles and your feet are usually the biggest issue. If you don't have that elevation, you lack flexibility in the ankles, which over time you kind of want to get that flexibility where you can squat with your shoes off. Not that you have to, or you squat with flat foot. If you have one ankle rolls in, guess what happens to that one side? You're going to get a little bit of a twist, but then you get a little bit of torque in the system, which over time can lead to some more back or knee issues. So that's why it's kind of important to not run the hierarchy of just like, you got to squat with your shoes off.
Yeah.
Yes and no. There's nothing wrong with it, but you got to look at all the factors involved there because you are loading your spine up with a barbell.
All right. So what about when you're looking the other way, sideways at the person? Like, what should the weight be doing as it goes up and down? Is it going to go in a straight line, or is it going to curve a little bit, or does it really matter? Or does it change per person?
Off the top of my head, I can't really think how straight it's supposed to be. It's definitely not supposed to have a huge difference. Like, it's not supposed to have a huge difference to it. Yeah. It's relatively going to go straight up. I don't know
okay, well, that's what Erin was saying, is she noticed that it was going down straight, and I just didn't know if that's like normal or not normal or good or bad.
Yeah, it's you pretty much want it going down straight. The bar is going to stay. The weight's going to be kind of in the midfoot as you go down.
Yeah,
So it's a relatively straight bar path. Yes.
Okay.
And you want to keep that stuff as symmetrical as possible. And one of the other components that I threw in there, which is very true, and this is, again, to the average person going into a weight room, is most people, let's say you work a 9 to 5, you're sitting at a desk all day, you go in, and you're like, all right, I'm going to load up a barbell and squat. It's like you're loading, most people start off with a decent amount of weight on your spine. It's like, no, we need to do warm-ups. No, we need to do this. And that's another video I'll be putting out is like, okay, what's an appropriate warm-up for a squat that you can spend 5 to 10 minutes doing every single time you should be doing relatively to just improve your longevity. I think at this point, me being 30, when it comes to squatting or doing weights, I want to move some weight. I want to look like whatever. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to tomorrow not have any pain going on. That's a nuisance, and increase that longevity of how long I'm going to be able to move well and be super flexible. So a warm-up is incredibly important for that, especially with the back squat. Got to do it.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. That's squatting. And there'll be, I think it's always fun to put out those videos and see what people comment and what I can help out with, because it's, everyone's been nice so far on that. And I always want to just try to extend the conversation, because maybe there's something that I'm missing, like that whole knee angle thing. I need to go more into that. But that guy, he's getting a lot of negative comments.
A lot of hate.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily because of him explaining the 90-degree component, but it was more or less he's saying that you should only the research shows that you should only squat above parallel, and that's where people are like, no, you can't. I'm like, okay, I don't have time to sit here and look into what he's talking about, or that's when you get into for squatting being this whole process or situation. For sure. So we're not in spring. Cole and I are not in spring break week yet, but this video comes out during spring break week, which is going to give us a lot of time to do some extracurricular activities for the podcast that Cole and I will be talking about after we get done filming this. And those will be coming up in future episodes. And I'm pretty excited. I don't know if we should do the Qdoba Chipotle one against each other. We're definitely doing pizza. The pizza's coming up. We got to do the pizza. And it might be fantastic. It might be next Monday. For bachelor, whatever we're doing, because I'm not going to be working. I'll be on the computer all next week. But the pizza taste testing and recording that, and we got some short form content that we'll be working on for the podcast.
Let's go. That sounds great. I was thinking of something. I think we should steal. Have you ever heard of Ludwig? YouTuber, streamer.
I know him mainly from the Fortnite days when I was watching Fortnite, just streaming videos, or I think that's when I initially was introduced to him. And is he friends with who's the Australian guy that's really funny? Laserbeam, like those guys. Yeah,
so.
Okay,
I think so. But anyways, he does a bros versus pros or bros versus bros where they play games against each other. See who's the best gamer. I think we should do something like that.
Like video games?
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun. Okay. We do video games. And
we hone our skills in certain games. And the way that works is I have a set games that I feel good on. You have a set games that you feel good on. And then we have neutral games. And we'll play like best of 4 or something like that.
That would be fun.
And the loser of the game then picks the next game that they play.
Okay. That'll be one thing we can do. I like that. And then we got to do some physical.
Yes.
We got to go to a batting cage. I want to go to a batting cage.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Batting cage. Really bad. That'll be one. And then just other sports that we can definitely throw in. And then we could also do, I do have several ideas.
Oh, let's see how far we could throw like a football or a baseball or like kick a soccer ball.
All the challenges.
That sounds good. All right.
Food challenges and physical challenges, because this is a fitness podcast.
I like that. I like this.
I have one last story.
Fitness at the end, baby. Fitness at the end. That should be a slogan. We should like make a t-shirt. Fitness at the end.
The t-shirts. So I'm working on the Spotify shop next week. So the t-shirts design is something I'm going to have you help me with.
Oh, nice.
Okay. The first podcast t-shirt will be available on the Shopify store on the Edge website once that thing all gets done. But last story here. It wraps this up so well. So if you've been listening this entire time and you haven't gone to the YouTube channel, that's perfectly fine. Cole and I right now.
Yeah, it's really no big deal, but also you should go and do it, you know?
Yeah. Cole and I are both wearing Hawaiian shirts because of the long-standing kind of inside joke that I have had several athletes ask me about at this point, which is really funny. They're like, what is the spring break thing? And it all started from one of my athletes asking about spring break, essentially wanting me to help explain how to get ready for spring break, essentially. And we never really talked about it, and it's kind of been the running joke. And we're wearing Hawaiian shirts right now. Cole's got glasses on. I've got my backwards hat on. We look like we're going on vacation, even though we're not. And I won't say her name, but she has a nickname now, and it's Llama. And I won't get in the inside joke on that as well, but it's Llama. And I call her group, their volleyball team, the Llama Squad. So whenever I write their workouts in the board, it says Llama Squad, whatever. And I'm like, why is it Llama Squad? It's like, well, you're the ringleader of this. And the other day, this is not to call her out, and that's why I won't say her name. I have a pair of 8-pound dumbbells over at the gym. Okay. So they're 8s, and she goes to grab them, and I can't remember what we're doing. She's like, can I use the 11s? I go, say that again. She goes, can I use the 11s? I go, are you being serious? She goes, yeah. I was like, say it one more time. And everyone else is listening in the group. And this is not me making fun of her. She had a good laugh of it as well. She goes, can I use the 11s? I go, bring them over here real quick. So I take them to the team and I go, what does that say? And some of them did say 11. And I was like, they're 8s, guys. They're like, oh. So I jokingly said, I was like, maybe this is my claim to fame. I'm going to make a pair of 11-pound dumbbells. And we're going to call them the Llama 11s.
Oh yeah.
That's what I posted.
I like
Llama
that.
11s, and they're going to be just like rainbow style, just like crazy. But then every gym has to have a pair of Llama 11s, and that's the joke. And then at the end of it, I was like, all right, someone needs to make up the branding of this and send it to me, and let's see you can make up the best branding logo for the Llama 11s, and it'll be another running joke of the gym. So the Llama 11s, because those are 8s, not 11s. Llama, that's your story. You're probably not listening, but you have 2 inside jokes in the gym now.
Have a safe spring break. Enjoy. Be safe.
Don't get caught in red tide.
Please be safe. Y'all are amazing. Bye.